Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, April 5th. We have all you need to know about Penn State's national academic rankings and changes in local services leadership.
We also have updates on immigration policies enacted by the Biden administration, along with weather, sports, and entertainment. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jamie DeBellonia.
And I'm Zachary O'Brien.
Penn State ranked in 41 out of 54 subjects across all 5 broad subject areas in the 2023 World University Rankings by subject. The results were recently released by QS, one of the major 3 international organizations who annually rank academic institutions. Penn State had a strong showing worldwide, ranking in the top 25 in 8 subject areas and in the top 50 in 19 areas. Penn State ranked in the top 25 worldwide sports-related subjects, earth and marine sciences, geophysics, geology, mineral and mining engineering, petroleum engineering, hospitality and leisure, management and communication and media studies. The university also ranked in the top 75 in the world broad subject areas of natural sciences, social sciences and management, and also engineering technology.
Penn State Health is making preparations for its abdominal organ transplant program after reinstating the program. Held at the Milton S. Hershey Medical Center, the program will focus on caring for Pennsylvanians who experience kidney or liver diseases. These transplants are said to be life-saving and are a close-to-home treatment option for Pennsylvanians. The program will be led by 3 surgeons in the field, Dr. Johnny Hong, Dr. Thomas Butler, and Dr. Raymond Lynch. A 4th surgeon is slated to join the team as well. Hong said in a release that the transplant surgery can provide patients a second chance at life.
A Patton Township apartment complex is now recovering after multiple fire departments responded to the scene of a fire there on Sunday night. Emergency crews were dispatched at about 9 p.m. to Vario Village for reports of a working fire in an apartment building, number 225. Alpha Fire Company arrived first on the scene and found heavy smoke coming from the 2nd floor. The building was evacuated and no injuries have been reported. Crews did not have to break the roof to contain the fire and appeared to have it under control. The Center County Region Marshal has been called to investigate the cause of the fire.
The Center Area Transportation Authority is seeking a new executive director as the current position holder is resigning after 9 years in the position. Luana Oliva is seeking a new position, but said that leading CATA and serving this community has been an honor, and she thanks the CATA board for the opportunity. She led CATA through the unexpected challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, most notably an extended period of decreased ridership and staffing shortages. The CATA Board of Directors accepted Oliva's resignation on Monday and has appointed David Richel to serve as interim for up to 1 year. Richel is a nationally recognized expert in the public transportation who has worked with dozens of transit authorities. 2 other CATA employees will assist him in this new transition. Temperatures reached the high 70s today, with anticipated temperatures not looking to get much lower. Caroline Castora with Campus Weather Service has more details on what to expect in tonight's weather report. Take a look.
From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
After an unseasonably warm day, a cold front is going to bring with it rain and cooler temperatures. And right now you can see there were some spotty showers that passed through Center County, at least in the middle part of the state earlier, that are starting to dissolve a little bit ahead of the front that is out towards our west currently. But obviously right now in State College, it's not making too much of an impact. We're sitting at 76 degrees right now and mostly clear skies looking out from the hub. And winds are rather calm out of the south, 10 miles per hour, so nothing too notable happening right now except for the temperatures. Again, I mentioned it's unseasonably warm. We reached 77 degrees here in State College. Pittsburgh actually tied a record from 1910 with a high of 83 degrees. But on the other side of the state, they're still feeling a little bit cooler and a little more seasonable than other parts of the state, and that's due to a warm front that kind of sliced the state in half They're going to get warmer as the night progresses before everyone feels a little bit cooler when that cold front moves through. So let's find this cold front I'm talking about. It's this line in between the red and the green right there. It's going to move into our area overnight into early Thursday morning, bringing with it a chance for severe weather and rain with this front, along with dropping temperatures. So you can see behind this front, much cooler, the green and even blue showing high pressures moving in, but temperatures are cooling down. How much cooler, you ask? So that area that is on the other side of the warm front is cooler than we were this time yesterday, but the other half of the state, like Pittsburgh, who reached a record high temperature today, or tied it, is much warmer, even up towards Erie, 17 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday, and yesterday was a pretty warm day, so that's something to talk about. And then you can see the front once again dividing the country. You can see it's cooler behind the front than they were this time yesterday, and then ahead of the front, it's pretty normal or warmer than they were this time 24 hours ago. So let's talk about the rain with this front. I mentioned it could be severe. That's that red with this line of showers. It's only a 3 out of 5 or a 2 out of 5 according to the SPC the farther west you go. So the majority of the state will not see severe weather, but there is the risk for strong winds associated with this line of storms and the cold front moving through. So that was earlier tonight. This is 11:30. You can see it's not going to be a complete washout for the entire state. There will be breaks. This is 11:30, spotty showers across the state, but temperatures will start to fall as the front moves through. You can see Erie's already at 43 degrees by 6:30 in the morning. State College is still at 60, but it's just going to get colder and colder as this front moves through. So the high temperatures tomorrow are a little bit deceiving because once we reach the warmest temperature in the morning, it's just going to get colder rather than warmer like a normal day. Spotty showers anticipated for the rest of the day before the clouds start to break a little bit by 6 p.m. You can see partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies out towards Johnstown, and we start to dry out as high pressure starts to dominate the region just in time for a Good Friday. But the temperatures are what's going to make it very cold, so not too perfect of a Good Friday. So tonight, showers and a chance for thunderstorms, severe, especially farther west you go, will get down to 63 degrees. But then tomorrow, your high is only going to be 65. So we're briefly going to warm up before we get colder as that front moves through across the state. The risk for showers and thunderstorms is still there. On Thursday, it's not going to be a complete washout, but be weather wear and pack an umbrella if you're walking outside to class, especially in the earlier hours. And then your 7-day forecast. There's something for everyone on this forecast except for winter lovers, but luckily we're moving into the spring months, so it's not that big of a deal. We get cooler for your Easter weekend, but it's going to be dry, and high pressure is going to dominate for the rest of the week as temperatures just get warmer and warmer until we head towards next Wednesday.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Amanda Weissman with your sports update. Penn State baseball pitcher Travis Lunsman was awarded with Big Ten Co-Pitcher of the Week on Monday. Lunsman threw 4 shutout innings and a career high of 10 strikeouts during Saturday's 7-2 win against Indiana. He entered the game in relief in the 6th inning and went on to pitch the final 4 innings. Lunsman struck out 3 batters in both the 6th and 7th innings, 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. So far this season, Lunsman has struck out 36 batters and held opponents to a .188 batting average. Penn State unfortunately gave up their winning streak against Bucknell last night, falling 14-17, but we'll see if they can make a comeback. Keba Jai announced via tweet on Tuesday morning that he is entering the transfer portal. Jai thanked Coach Shrewsbury, his Penn State teammates, and his family for all they have done in his career. Jai is entering to explore all other options, making him the 5th Nittany Lion to leave following Shrewsbury's decision to coach at Notre Dame. He ended his freshman year season with an average of 3.4 points and 3.5 rebounds in 14.3 minutes every game. Jai was Penn State's first ESPN Top 100 commit since Tony Carr in 2016. Jai's announcement to enter the transfer portal will now leave the Nittany Lions with only 2 scholarship players currently on the roster. It will be interesting to see if the Nittany Lions can rebound from Jai's leave. You can't believe the Huskies have won the NCAA championship yet again. On Monday night, the UConn Huskies won the championship game against San Diego State University
76-59. This will be the 5th time they have won the national title, making them the school with the most tournament wins in 25 years. They arguably had one of the most dominant runs in tournament history, winning 6 games by an average of 20 points, the 4th largest since the tournament's expansion in 1985. This also makes them the 5th team since 1985 to win all 6 games by double digits. Let's see how the Huskies will carry on next season. That's all for your sports update. After the break, Gabrielle Tyner has the latest updates from the entertainment world. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Gabrielle Tyner with your entertainment update. Student organization Visionary Visual Arts will host its annual Dean's List concert from 7 to 9 p.m. tomorrow in Heritage Hall in the Hub Robeson Center. The concert will headline artists Scory and Young X Chris, 2 popular upcoming local rappers, along with several others. 24-year-old Scory has over 1.6 million listeners on Spotify and released his debut album, Help Is On The Way, in 2022. He is the first artist to sign with Polo G's Capitol Records, which is a partnership with Columbia Records. The event aims to promote creativity, music, and visual arts, along with opportunity for performers to perform for students and locals here at Penn State. The event will be hosted by Culture Central. Penn State students will pay a fee of $10 and non-students will have to pay $20 to enter the event. In other local news, in light of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Penn State University Park's undergrad program is collaborating with Penn State's Gender and Equity Center and other organizations to host programs, workshops, and multiple other events throughout the month. Tonight, there will be a sexual violence and awareness discussion with Greeks Care, It's On Us, and Sigma Lambda Beta Fraternity in 118 Thomas Building at 7 p.m. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. is Take Back the Night, where individuals will speak up and share their experiences starting at Old Main Lawn and will end with a candlelight vigil. Next Tuesday, a human trafficking survivor and advocate, Jennifer Roeder, will speak on Zoom for her lecture, Exposure Talks, Exploring Familial Trafficking. The remaining calendar of events advocating for Sexual Awareness Month can be found at psu.edu/news/student affairs. On a national note, Oscar-winning actress and entrepreneur Gwyneth Paltrow has been deemed not guilty in her lawsuit over a ski collision back in 2016. CNN reports it took the juror less than 20 minutes to figure out she was not at fault. Paltrow was skiing when 76-year-old retired optometrist Terry Sanderson slammed into her back. Paltrow was awarded $1 in damages and reimbursement of her legal fees, while Sanderson was suing her for over $3 million in damages. He claimed Paltrow caused him health problems after the crash at Deer Valley Resort in Park City, Utah. After the verdict, Paltrow said in a statement released through her attorneys that she was pleased with the outcome and she appreciates all of the hard work of the judge and the jury and thanks them for their thoughtfulness in handling this case. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, interview anchor Caroline Quick will be speaking with Laden Suleiman, the president of Middle Eastern and Northern African Association. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Caroline Quick. With me tonight, I have Laden Suleiman, the president of the Middle Eastern and North African Association. Laden, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'd like to start by asking you, what is the Middle East and North African Association?
Hey, Caroline, thank you so much for having me on tonight. So the Middle East North African Association is a very long name, so I'm just going to say MENA, or the Middle Eastern Association for short, throughout this entire interview. But what I will say is that it's an organization of students, basically, where our aim is to create and foster a community for Middle Eastern students here at Penn State, and also to sort of educate the Penn State community about what it means to be Middle Eastern and how Middle Eastern people are like.
I know that you decided to restart the club. Why was that?
Right, so it had started actually this year. I was in the fall semester. AR and Anthony were the president and vice president. And they initially were just a group of friends who put it together, but it quickly fell apart because they didn't really have the organizational tools that they needed to keep it in place. So I was always interested in the club, and I just, I reached out to Anthony time and time again. I'm sure he thought I was harassing him. What's going on with the club? What's going on with the club? And eventually, at the beginning of the spring semester, he reached out to me, and we had a conversation. And then we just eventually put it together, got an e-board together, and we've just been working at it ever since.
Can you please describe the goal of the club?
Yeah, so the goal is very similar to the mission, and it's really to, because I remember how it was like coming in as a freshman and not really finding a sense of community. So I just wanted other freshmen who are from the region, or are familiar with the region, to be able to find a home in that community.
That's great. And in your opinion, why do you think it's important to have a club representing Middle Eastern and North African students?
I think the Middle East is a very misunderstood place. Of course, it's a geopolitical term, and of course, when we think of the Middle East, the two things that come to mind are Arab and Muslim. And while those two groups do reside in the Middle East, well, the largest Muslim population is actually in Indonesia, so outside of the Middle East. But what I will say is it's a very diverse area of many different ethnic groups, religions, languages, Christians, Jews, Muslims. It's a home to them all. So I just wanted people to just, through meeting a Middle Eastern person here at Penn State, be able to change their views, their preconceived notions on Middle Eastern people as well.
Right, and how can someone get involved in the club?
There's different levels of involvement. I mean, you can just join our GroupMe, follow our Instagram at Mina PSU. And then on both of those platforms, you'll see updates for events. And you can also attend our events. We have a Ramadan football tournament, or as the Americans like to call it, soccer. You know, we can have a little debate later, but it's going to go on. It's going to start next week, hopefully. And we have a hookah formal actually tomorrow. For anyone watching, please come join us. It's going to be a chill out downtown. And we also have a formal at the end of this month. And of course, with my graduation, we're going to have some vacancies on the executive board. And so if you're interested, please reach out to me, and I'd love to talk. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about some of the events that you've had in the past?
Yeah. So I'll tell you about the biggest one. We had one with ASA, the African Student Association. They're one of the biggest student orgs on campus. It was called Battle of the A's. So it was us, along with a number of other organizations like the Caribbean Student Association and the Filipino Student Association. And basically it was like I was saying earlier about the sort of cultural exchange, and we had many different games which we played. It was very lighthearted. ASA brought out a huge turnout. It was a great time.
And finally, what do you have in store for next year?
Next year, we're trying to really solidify the structure of the club, have some more educational stuff, have some more roundtable discussions, and have like a rigid and fixed date for general body meetings so people sort of get used to the flow of things. That organizational structure is very important.
Thank you so much. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, but thank you so much, Ladin, for spending some time to tell us more about your organization.
Yep, thank you.
Up next, Zachary and Jamie will bring you the latest news from across the nation. Stay tuned.
The number of Ecuadorians detained near the border with Mexico has now spiked. Following the impact of COVID-19, Ecuador has been faced with unemployment, instability, and rising crime. Several migrants have decided to leave for the U.S. following their friends, family, and acquaintances. Long known for its remarkably low rates of crime, Ecuador is also earthquake-prone and has been struggling economically. Higher violence rates have also caused its people to leave the country in record numbers. Biden's administration policies introduced in January have sharply reduced illegal U.S. border crossings by targeting migrants, such those from Ecuador. The administration wants to be able to send all migrants back to Mexico if they travel through the country to reach the U.S. border. Ecuadorian families see their chance in America as better than living in their home country, where citizens see no signs that things will improve anytime soon.
It has now been 10 years since the Congressional Gang of Eight promised new immigration reform in America, but no progress has been seen in their efforts. The group consisted of 8 senators from both parties and met in Washington. Since 2013, Americans have had leadership from 3 different presidents, including President Obama, President Trump, and currently President Biden. The Biden administration announced in early January that it would admit up to 30,000 people a month from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela for 2 years. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas argues it will weaken cartels, while Republicans bash this policy. Many immigrants continue to count on President Biden for his reform, as they see it as a beacon of hope, while scared about the immigration system. But they also believe the same cycle will continue like the past 10 years. With a divided Congress, change is still to be seen in legislation in the upcoming years.
Hundreds of people are taking the streets of Grand Rapids, Michigan, to protest the killing of Patrick Lyoya. Last April, white Grand Rapids police officer fatally shot Leoya, a black motorist. After video of the shooting was publicly released, outrage in the community grew, with some fearing a violent response. But the protests, while loud and angry, were peaceful. City leaders say policing reforms and outreach to Grand Rapids' black community helped to keep the peace after Leoya's death. Others believe the reform efforts have been slow to impact and superficial best. Grand Rapids police have a history of heavy-handed encounters with black people, who account for 18% of the city's population. Local citizens say no one has forgotten about how officers have treated black youth in their area.
A state appeals court has now ordered a new trial for the man accused of gunning down a Chicago honor student days after she performed at President Obama's presidential inauguration. Michael Ward was found guilty in connection with the death of 15-year-old Hadiah Pendleton and was sentenced to 84 years of prison. Ward was 18 years old at the time of the shooting. There was no weapon or other pieces of physical evidence seized, so law enforcement relied heavily on witness identification and testimonies. Kenneth Williams was also arrested as he was Ward's getaway driver after he opened fire on Pendleton and her classmates. The prosecutor said that this was the result of a gang war that had been going on for years. This quickly led to an outcry by the residents of Chicago to politicians for more gun laws and safety in their neighborhood. That concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.